this session and all of them that we're going to learn today, BeEzrat HaShem, should be dedicated to Refuah Shlema Udia Rabbi Yaron Ruhen Shlita. His name is Yaron Ben Doris. Also to Yehudis Bas Noach, Mimarasi Rachel Bas Brindel, Ariela Ora Basana, David Shlomo Ben Sandra. Also a quick release to Moshe Shmuel Ben Pnina and Atzlacha Rabba to Giberes Chana Bas Abraham Avinu and the whole family. BeEzrat HaShem. Alright. So we continue today with our class Kosher Kitchen. And last chapter 19, and we go through the list of the kitchen utensils, utensil by utensil in alphabetical order, and we do summarize whatever we learned in this book about, or it did not even discuss, about special utensil. So next one is a peeler. Peeler shares the same halachas as a knife. Right. A peeler may be kept parv, and used to peel vegetables for both meat and dairy meals. A parv peeler should not be washed with either meat or dairy dishes. Alternatively, one may keep two peelers, one meat and one dairy. The dairy peeler should be marked in a way to distinguish it from the meat peeler. One may not use dairy peeler to peel sharp foods for the use of the meat or reverse. One should not use peeler to peel vegetables on Shabbos. A peeler requires tevilah with bracha. Okay, so it's a lot to learn. So let's try to understand. So first of all, so peeler, they have different kinds, but I think majority of them they have this blade made of steel, like metal. I don't think they do from other materials, but maybe, I don't know. Right, so it has the same halachas as a knife. Right, so the knife, what's the problem with the knife? If we cut these sharp vegetables. So, but I mean, by us, we keep all of these peelers. We have several of them. Just part of that's it. So you do this, right? You peel vegetables, and then you continue with the daily utensils and or meat utensil, but all of the vegetables we peel only with parv. Okay. Right. And then you can use the same peeler for meat and dairy dishes. There is no problem. Everything is cold. There is no problem whatsoever. Right. And the parv peeler should not be washed with either meat or dairy dishes. So meaning when it's hot. When the water is hot, so that would be a problem. So sometimes, since it's only vegetables, I would advise just to rinse it quickly. There's nothing like right. For example, if you use a knife to cut bread, and you cut bread, is it like soiled or something? It's clean. So just rinse it quickly, and that's it. And put it right drying. Okay. Right. So meaning, but wash in the same sink, like in a meat dish, like soak this peeler would be a problem. Okay, that's what we're trying to say. Alternatively, one may keep two peelers, one meat and one dairy. I don't see any need, me personally, unless a person has some they use these peelers not only for vegetables. Okay. The dairy peeler, but if somebody wants to do that, there is no problem. The dairy peeler should be marked in a way distinguished from the meat peelers. As we always say, try to maybe to paint the handle, right? Or initially buy from different handles. So as we said today, there's so many colors that you cannot miss, right? In olden days, it was black. And it was basically black, and that's it. And sometimes you would find red, some things. Right? That's where it's the only choice, or stainless steel. That's it. So today there are so many choices. One may not use a dairy peeler to peel sharp foods for use with meat. So meaning dairy peeler, again, it means that maybe they washed in hot water or soaked it in a meat dish or something. That's it. This peeler is going to become a meat peeler. That's it. Okay. One should not use peeler to peel vegetables on Shabbos. So on Shabbos we have this prohibition, milacham, that we cannot separate. Right? We cannot separate bad from good. Right, and especially with the instrument, like special instrument designed for that. And peeler, for sure, it's designed to remove this peel. Right, the only way you're allowed to separate is what? Is by hand. Right, good from bad, by hand, and for right now. Three conditions. So by hand exclude all of these vessels, all of these utensils, special instruments. Peeler required tevilah with bracha because of the metal. So next one, pet food. Although one may feed non-kosher food to pets, one may not feed them basar v'chalav. Right. Thus, one must assert that any dog food does not contain basar v'chalav. That is biblically prohibited. There is a meat and dairy, both from kosher species of animals. If, however, the meat or milk is from non-kosher species, for example, horse meat or pork, or fowl, there is a chicken, right? The food may be used even though it contains both meat and milk. One who erroneously purchased basar v'chalav's dog food should consult a Rav as to whether he may return it for a refund or exchange. One must keep separate can opener for pet food, and all the dishes used for pet food should not be washed in a kosher sink. Dishes used for a pet food is not required tevilah. Okay, so that's a lot of information. So let's try to review it. Okay, so from the beginning, we're going to explain. So I did not all of this until we never had pets. I mean, my family had pets always. My family never had pets. All right, so I started learning only as after people start asking me questions, Pesach and these things. It's very interesting. So again, pet food. Although one might feed non-kosher food to pets, so generally it's the whole discussion in a Talmud where it says it's not allowed for you. So it says it's not allowed to eat or it's not allowed to benefit. And in some cases, it's not allowed to benefit as well. For example, in this case, basar v'chalav, meat and milk combination. So there, right, you cannot eat, you cannot cook, and you cannot get any benefit. So meaning, what's the benefit? If person would feed his or her dog, right, or cat, wherever they feed, so that's a problem right there. So the benefit meaning they give this food to pets. Okay, but some things that not allowed to eat but allowed to benefit, right? Allowed to benefit as we're going to see. In one of these cases we learn. 1 second. I think in this session when we're talking about this what is it, non-Jewish helping in a house. So in some cases, since that wine that was would be forbidden on a rabbinical level, so you are allowed to sell to non-Jew. Okay, in some cases, so meaning you can derive benefit. Okay, so let's see. But now in another case, thus one must assert that any dog food does not contain any basar v'chalav biblically forbidden. So on a Torah level, what is forbidden? It's forbidden kosher kosher animals, kosher domesticated animals. Is it only domesticated? I think it's only domesticated. I think so. If I remember, I could be wrong, but that's what I think. Meaning, if it's what is it? The milk of the deer, like with the meat of the cow, it would be forbidden on rabbinical level, I think. Not on the biblical. I mean, for us it doesn't matter. It's forbidden on one hand. On the other hand, if it's not forbidden on the biblical level, so he's saying that we can benefit, right? We can benefit, meaning give it to the animals. And one example that he gives, however, the meat or milk from a non-kosher species, right, horse meat or pork, right, or from the birds, right, right, even kosher birds, non-kosher birds, that doesn't matter, right, right. Just 1 second. So this mixture can, this mixture contain meat and milk, but one can derive a benefit, right? Meaning, just 1 second. Meaning, give to animals. Just 1 second. Okay. But if somebody bought basar v'chalav, so meaning cow milk and beef, right? Right, so it's not so simple. So person said, look, I made a mistake. It's not like I planned. I made a mistake, so I want to return and get a refund. Like that's a store policy. Especially if a person never open it. Like I think if you open in these stores, so you can say it's not fresh. I don't know, whatever. Animal did not eat it, so I think that they would get it back. Take it back. I think so. Right, but in this case, a person it's sealed. The box is sealed, and it's not allowed to return. Why? Very simple. Because person is going to derive benefit from something that he actually forbidden to benefit from. Yeah, it's my money. Yeah, I understand it's your money, but its money is lost once you bought that. So, but he said, consult your rabbi. Right. Right, so meaning the Rav would see how bad the way I understand. He would see what how bad the financial situation is. That's why some people ask, I don't know, this even though he's a great rabbi and he does not have time, and you ask him general questions, he's going to give you a general answer. Is his answer correct? 100%. Right? Was a different answer that would be more suited for you? 100%. Okay. Right. So continue. One must keep a separate can opener for the pet food. Okay. Right. And all of dishes you use for a pet food should not be washed in the sink. I'm not sure who would wash it in your sink, but maybe people do. I don't know. So you go to the bathroom sink and you wash it there, right, or somewhere else, and right, okay, but not for sure not in this, right? Because of what? First of all, the discussing, and second is it is not kosher food that was there. So now you have to the kosher sink, right? So dishes used for the pet food is not required to be long. So even sometimes, many times they're stainless, right? So if it would be for a person, yeah, you would do to be but something that is not touching the ready food that a person would eat does not require to be long. And so for example, somebody asked me, they had an argument. So, but the woman was smarter, so she asked me about they have about this mixer to make doughs and other things, right? And she asked if she needs to toll it. So I said it depends where you bought it from. She said for a dough and for to grind meat, to do this and that, to make pastries. But I said that all this raw, right? You're not going to would not be able to eat it. It's not like you mix salad. With these mixers, you usually don't mix salad or something, right? She said, yeah. So I said, yeah, of course. So you need to tolerate unless there is something. I say, if you can think of some ready like food that you can actually eat right away after you mix it. Okay, so looks like, I mean, maybe people do something like in this mixer, but she said we don't do anything. Like, okay, no problem. So in this case, yeah, not required. If you want to do it, yes, do it, but without blessing, because it is questionable. Unless you know for sure you're going to have some food that is well good to eat. Okay, continue. Pickle jar, right? When remove sour pickles from the pickle jar, one is often insert meat or dairy fork, right? We had this question, right, just recently. Dairy fork or a knife into the jar in order to remove the pickle. After repeated attempts to remove the pickle, it may be pierced, right, in many spots by the meat fork. Listen to this. And may absorb meat taste. Frequently, one is unable to extricate the pickle from the jar, or and the pickle removes in the jar. Someone else may subsequently remove the pickle and eat it with a dairy, or remove the pickle using dairy knife, right, the dairy knife or fork. This may be problematic, since the pickle may have absorbed the meat or the milk taste. One should avoid this problem by removing any pickle that was pierced with the meat and dairy utensils. So I mean, it's a lot. I also was asked the same question several times, like even in the recent past. So the advice for everybody, like that's what my family taught me, like from I was little, and we never ever insert our own like forks in there. Never. Like if it's a dish like shared with others, like this pickle jar, so you take extra fork, like clean part of fork, and then you take whatever you need with that, and it is only for the jar. Leave it in the jar. Right. Also with other things, we never like would be allowed to go like with your own fork into this that everybody is using. Okay, but on one hand, right, that's proper behavior, I think. But in this case, we have to remember, long time ago, I don't remember when, but a very long time ago, when we were talking about when we learned the Halachos of knife, right? And we said everything like a knife that have the same Halachah. So in another example we just learned to a peeler is the Halachos of knife applies to them, and also fork, right? Fork, because you cut with a fork, with the pressure, right? And we said how the taste of food enters the blade of knife through the pressure. So same is here with the fork. Many times you eat something like a baked fish or something, right? So I mean, it's proper, of course, to take a knife and cut it, but sometimes you're a little lazy and you cut everything with a fork. You just press a little stronger, and that's it. So that's this fork becomes like a knife. And if you pierce something, right, piercing meaning like you're cutting, so meaning this fork is like a knife. So the problem is right, if a person just pierced and took it out, okay, after the fact there is no problem, but they trying to get it out and was not successful, left it there, it is a problem. So, and plus this this pickle in this brine also a problem, right? As we said, also transfer the taste faster. Okay, so from the beginning. When removing sour pickle from the pickle jar, one often insert a meat or dairy fork or a knife, right, into the jar in order to remove the pickle. So if you use like I mean the best way just simply to use the paddle fork. That's it, right, or knife. Okay. Maybe knife is not a good idea because pickled vegetables, as we said before, considered to be sharp food, problematic. Okay, just 1 second. After repeating attempts to remove the pickle, it sounds like somebody is from our previous story, like from Halachos the King. Somebody is a little drunk, right? After repeating attempts to remove the pickle, it may be pierced in many spots by meat fork and may absorb the meat taste, right? Maybe not. I mean, most likely it's going to be less than 1 to 60, but we're just working with the concept. Frequently, one is unable to extricate the pickle from the jar, and the pickle. I'm not sure why he said frequently. One is unable to extricate the pickle from the jar, and the pickle remains in the jar. Someone else may subsequently remove the pickle and eat it with dairy, meaning with dairy meal, or remove pickle using dairy fork or a dairy knife. Right. This is maybe problematic since the pickle may absorb the meat taste and the milk taste. I mean, of course, it's like such a remote possibility. Tiny would you taste like from these holes that you created with a meat fork, I don't know, an hour ago or 3 days ago, and then you're going to eat with the dairy milk. I mean, I don't think so. I would not feel, but we have to understand that we're trying to be careful with our observance of the mitzvahs. Okay, and one should avoid the problem and remove any pickle, right, that was pierced with a meat or dairy utensil. Okay, so again, in this case, the fork, it becomes knife. I mean, category of knife. Next one is a pitcher, right? One may use a single pitcher for both meat and dairy meals, provided one prevents meat and dairy from coming into contact with the pitcher. In addition, the pitcher handle should be wiped clean of any food residue after each meal. So hope people you use napkins and don't take a pitcher with the soiled hands. Right? Some unscrupulous individuals use separate pitchers for a meat and dairy. A glass or a meat pitcher requires to be LevLeib with bracha. Okay, so let's do from the beginning. So pitcher. One may use single pitcher for both meat and dairy meals. I mean, usually like you take it with the clean hands. If you use knives and forks, right, as we should, right, the hands should not be soiled. Or if it's soiled, right, you should go and wash it, right. So technically, there is no problem. I mean, I even like if you like hold the handle of the pitcher. You see, we have handles. I mean, in one pitcher we had several pitchers. Only in one we had handles, but majority of them, like there is no real handle there. So you just hold by the neck. Okay. But some of them, yeah, there are handles. In addition, the pitcher handle should be wiped clean, right, from any food residue after the meal. And just a few tips since we were on the topic of pitcher. So it's one of these cases that you allow to wash pitcher on Shabbos, right? And usually, as we said before, you're not allowed to prepare chachana, right, on from Shabbos to the weekday, or from Yom Tov on the weekday, right? But if you don't need this utensil for the next day, but since if you have if you use a pitcher for wine, and it can become stain. We have a pitcher that we're using right now. All the time we will remember to wash it as soon as possible. A few times we forgot that there is a stain there, a little it's a little reddish, and it's you cannot take it out. It's so sorry. This wine absorbed into the glass. It's unbelievable. Right? That's why our sages they would allow us to wash it on Shabbos, right? Not completely, not with a brush, but let's rinse it so to prevent the utensil from spoilage. It's one thing that I want to share, and another thing, if you're going to use non-cooked wine, non-mevushal one, or if somebody never tried, never tasted non-mevushal grape juice, I recommend highly to taste non-mevushal grape juice. It has nothing to do with mevushal, totally opposite. It costs almost 2.5 times, not regular price, right, on sale, right, it's 2.5 times for less amount, right, for a lesser bottle, but it's totally worth it, for sure. Right, and what do you do? So this non-mevushal grape juice or non-mevushal wine, so you pour in a pitcher, and then you cover it. So you buy the silk scarf or something, like something beautiful, not to see through, right? Scarf, like a handkerchief, whatever they call, like a bigger one, enough that you can cover it, and that's it. So you don't need to buy something separate. You can use the same. For example, if it's only you and your family, everybody is Shoma Shabbos, there is no problem. But if you know there is some guest is going to come, and it is questionable Shoma Shabbos or not, so just make sure keep your pitcher to yourself and cover it. All right, and from outside this handle, of course, you can clean, right? And in many times, if your pitcher has a tiny hole, there is some pitcher like that, so for sure you can assume there is a water pitcher, unless you see some wine stain inside. It's a water pitcher, and technically you can buy even used one. So some people buy because antique and stuff like that. You can use it if you want. Okay, because it was used only with water, for sure nobody drank tea or coffee or cocoa, right? Nothing. No, it was only water, because it's like in a pitcher like that, it's impossible to clean it. Period. Right. So it was used only for water. That's information about pitchers, and it says some scrupulous individuals will separate pitcher for meat and dairy. Okay, no problem. I mean, I think they're talking about water pitcher. So right. Okay, no problem. Water pitcher. A glass or a metal pitcher requires tevilah with bracha. Okay. Tevilah with bracha. So of course it has to do with is a contact with ready-made food, as we understand. Okay, drink. Next one, placemat. Common custom to keep separate or the distinctive plastic placemat for a meat and dairy meals. I'm not sure if he's the same plastic. I'm not sure. Okay, so the thing is, when somebody eats dairy, right, and somebody eats meat at the same table, right? Kids want to eat pizza, and you want to eat normal food, right? So they're not there yet, so they want to eat pizza. There is no problem. So you have to create some kind of separation, so nobody would take from each other plate, right? So when people eat a totally dairy meal, they require to eat it from a dairy what is it, tablecloth, right? Or at least when one of them eating from dairy, and another people, for example, two people at the same table, and they related, they in close relations. In this case, so yeah, we say take some placemats, something like to show, and put some barriers between yourself, like some reminder, siman, right? That you would remember that I'm eating dairy and he or she eating meat. So not to take from somebody's plate. And here we say from placemats. I'm not sure he said plastic. I mean, there's many cloth placemats, and like they're such good quality, like special. Of course, I'm not sure what fabric is it, but they usually almost don't they would absorb liquid, but not through, like only inside, but would not get through wet, which is good. Okay, let me quickly check time in a second. Okay, so let's do the next one. Pot. Pot, it's a lot. It's a lot. Food cooked in a meat or dairy pot. Right. So I mean that's how we started this class. Long time ago. Foods cooked in a meat or dairy pot. According to Ashkenazi custom, pot of food that were cooked in ben yamo, meat pot, should not be eaten together with dairy food, or reverse, even if the meat pot was thoroughly washed. However, one may put food, even while hot, on a dairy dish, right? Thus, if water was boiled in a non-ben yamo meat pot, if water was boiled in ben yamo meat pot, it was not to be used with coffee with milk. If one put milk into the coffee, he may drink it. Similarly, margarine melted in a ben yamo dairy pot should not be used for halachos served during the meat meal. If the margarine was mixed into the dough, the halachos should not be served with meat. However, if the pot was non-ben yamo, it was not used for hot meat or dairy in the previous 24 hours. One may eat pot food, for example, water, with dairy, or halachos with meat. Sharp foods cooked in a non-ben yamo pot are treated as a food cooked in ben yamo pot. Okay, so I think we're going to split. Okay, so we're going to Sephardic custom before we go into Sephardic custom. Is very simple. Ashkenazi custom is much more complicated. So let's do complicated part. Okay, so from the beginning, foods cooked in meat and dairy pot. So of course, as we always say, it's proper that you have 3 sets of pots, right? You have meat, you have dairy, and you have pot. Right? So all of these vegetables, all of this pasta, all of this, right? All these things you cook in a pot, and then you mix with whatever you want. You want to eat with meatballs, you want to eat with cheese, like, but you make it part. Okay. So according to Ashkenazi custom, so pot food that were cooked in ben yamo meat pot should not be eaten together with the dairy food. Okay. So again, we had the pot, and we cooked, let's say, meat, right? Meat stew in that pot, and then we cleaned it, and it was staying clean. Less than 24 hours, let's say 8 hours. It was in the morning we cooked it, ate it, whatever, and then, or at night, it doesn't matter. And now in the morning, right, so at night, maybe it's a better example. So at night they ate meat, right, they washed this meat pot, and now in the morning they cooked some pot foods. Right, so this part of food you cannot eat with, for example, in the morning they cooked macaroni, so they cannot use this macaroni with cheese. So that's what it is. Okay. Right, even as he said, even after they last night dinner, they cooked, they cleaned the pot perfectly. There is no problem with the soap, with everything. And then, as we said before, the soap they kill all of the taste. Okay, everything is good, but it actually was the taste was absorbed much deeper than that. Right. Right, but let's say this macaroni, and however one may put the food, meaning this macaroni, even while hot, on a dairy dish. So dairy dish does not say. I mean, dairy dish is I would say like most likely not ben yamo. So there is no problem. So and the secondary is vessel. Okay. Thus, if water was boiled in a ben yamo meat pot for whatever reason, right? It may not be used for coffee with milk. So very straightforward. Water was boiled with non-ben yama meat part may not be used with coffee with milk. Okay. Right. If one put it into coffee, he may drink it. So why first we say no, not we say yes, like we cannot make up our minds. No, that's it's because of the two opinions. So according to more lenient opinion, there is no problem. So since this pot was clean, right, and plus you're not eating right, right, and plus one food is part of, and another is a dairy. So according to one opinion, there is no problem. So for Sepharim, it's to begin with, there is no problem. But for Ashkenazim, we try not to do it, right? And it's if a person like a Dafka said, I want to do it, so it is forbidden. Actually, this food becomes forbidden. But if a person did it by mistake, it is allowed after the fact. But we're going to get to it. Similarly, margarine melted in a ben yama dairy pot. I'm not sure why somebody would do it. So ben yama meaning they used this right to boil milk. I don't know, something, right? This pot, and now they want to do halachos. Not margarine. Is not used right. May not be used for halachos served during the dairy meal. So again, this bread is going to be parif, of course. Right, on one hand, but it's not 100% parif, right? Because it was this margarine was melted in a dairy pot that is clean. Again, it's clean, but not ben yama. So meaning, well, ben yama meaning that was used past for 24 hours. Okay. Right. If margarine was used mixed in the dough, the halachos should not be served with the meat. Commentary. In this case, one has the option not to serve the halachos with meat. One has the option not to serve the halachos with meat, whereas the previous case, milk was already into the added into the coffee. So as exactly as I said. So meaning. Meaning if it did not happen, so you're not allowed to do that. But when we were talking about in previous example about this coffee, so we said since it's after the fact, this person, oops, I forgot. So that's a different story. But if you realize what happened, it's not allowed. It's not allowed to eat this halachos with meat. However, if pot was not ben yama, so when so that's actually our formula that we must remember. We almost finished the book, right? We're on page 509, right? We should be very, very smart by now, right? So, and when it's not ben yama, right, it was not used for a meat or dairy on the previous 24 hours, one may eat parif food. One may eat parif food, right? There is the water with dairy, right, or halachos with meat, right? So why? As we said many times before, after 24 hours, this taste spoils. It's not considered to be food any longer, and that's why you can eat, right? Of course, by rabbinical decree, we have to kosher if you want to use it for opposite type, but technically, after the fact, the food is allowed. Sharp foods cooked in a non-ben yama pot are treated as foods cooked in ben yama pots, pot. So sharp food of onion and garlic, other things. Okay. So again, sharp food cooked in a non-binyama part, so they consider it like they consider it to be not part of, but it's considered as that food. So whatever that food was, like the dish, the pot is like meat pot. So this those onions are considered to be meat. Period. Right? Even though you did not use this pot for 2 weeks or something. Okay. So continue. According to, so now we're going to Sephardic custom. Very simple. According to Sephardic custom, once the food was cooked, even in benyama meat pot, for example, water, it may be eaten with dairy. There is a coffee may be drunk with milk, or a margarine may be used to make dough for halachos. So Sephardim go by the lenient opinion. Right? I mean, when we were discussing this topic, we said that there is such a lenient opinion. Right, so Ashkenazim try to stay away from this. So in the case of great necessity, and it was there was no other option, yes, that it's a little different. But otherwise, they don't do it. Okay, so continue. So next one, cooking paref food in a meat or dairy pot. According to Ashkenazi custom, one may not cook paref food even in non-binyama meat pot, if the food is to be eaten with dairy, or the reverse. If one has no suitable paref or dairy pot, and non-binyama meat pot may be used for a paref not sharp foods. This halachah is discussed in detail, chapter 3. As I said, a long time ago, very long time ago. So let's do this last chapter, last paragraph. So again, cooking paref foods in the meat dairy pot. So initially it's very, very recommended, and we're going to save ourselves big headaches, a lot of headaches if we have a paref food, paref pots and pans and knives, especially knives. I mean, not as well knife, yes, knives, everything paref. So again, according to Ashkenazi custom, one may not cook paref food. So I mean potatoes, right? Even in a non-binyama meat pot. So this meat pot that was cleaned for 10 days, right? More than 24 hours. If the food is to be eaten with dairy or the reverse. So meaning if a person planned like that, right? So meaning it's absolutely forbidden. If one has no suitable paref or dairy pot. So if you're going to eat these potatoes, like for my example with the butter or something, that's your dream, right? So cook these potatoes in a dairy pot. That's it. So here's a clear solution. I would say we would try to cook all of these vegetables and pastas and only in a paref, and then you have you have a choice how to eat them. Why you put yourself in that situation, right? So, but if somebody does not have a paref pot or dairy pot, right? Maybe these small sizes you require or something. A non-binyama meat pot may be used to use paref non-sharp foods. Sharp foods, as we said, never allowed because it absorbs the taste and become like a taste of the pot that it was cooked in. Right. See chapter 3. I'm not sure how many hours we spent on that, but many hours for sure on that topic. All right, so we stop here. So let's do.